everyone, this is Tariq Shami, and you're listening to the Lovin Amman Show. Today, we're moving across Jordan, from Zarqa and Irbid to local roads, shawarma spots, and a new consumer rule that affects stores across the kingdom. This episode was created with the help of AI. Today is Thursday, May 7th, and Amman is getting warmer as we move further into May, which basically means summer energy is starting to creep in. And today's stories really capture different sides of Jordan. Official visits, youth engagement, nature tourism, food culture, everyday street moments, and new regulations aimed at younger consumers. We're starting today in Zarqa, where His Majesty King Abdullah II visited the governorate and checked on the progress of the Zarqa industrial estate. This project is especially important because it is being described as Jordan's first green and environmentally friendly industrial city. And that is a major detail here. Industrial projects are usually talked about in terms of investment, jobs, factories, exports, and economic growth. But this one is also being framed through sustainability, planning, and environmental standards. During the visit, His Majesty checked on the progress of the project and issued directives to the government to speed up the implementation of all phases of the industrial estate. The idea is that this project should not just stay in the planning stage. It is being treated as one of the major development priorities for Zarqa and one of the largest industrial projects in the kingdom. His Majesty King Abdullah also held a meeting at Hashemite University with leading figures and representatives from Zarqa Governorate. During that meeting, His Majesty highlighted the importance of the industrial city and stressed the need to provide the facilities and services needed to attract investment. And that point matters. An industrial estate is not just about building the site itself. To attract investors, it needs proper infrastructure, access, services, facilities, and the kind of environment that makes companies actually want to operate there. For Zarqa, this could be a major opportunity. The governorate already has a strong industrial identity, and projects like this can help create more jobs, support local development, and bring more attention to areas outside the capital. But one of the most shared parts of the visit was not just the official meeting or the project update, it was the moments with students at Hashemite University. On his way into the meeting, His Majesty King Abdullah II stopped to greet and interact with students gathered on campus. And on his way out, students once again surrounded His Majesty, capturing warm moments and welcoming him with excitement. Those kinds of scenes always travel quickly online because they show a more personal side to an official visit. It was not just a meeting behind closed doors. Students were part of the day, and the university atmosphere gave the visit a more direct and human feel. So, for our first story today, HM King Abdullah II was in Zarqa, checking on the Zarqa industrial estate, pushing for faster implementation, meeting local representatives, and sharing warm moments with students at Hashemite University. Now from Zarqa, we move north to Irbid, specifically to Saham Al Kafarat, where Her Majesty Queen Rania Al Abdullah spent the day hiking with local young men and women. Queen Rania visited the village of Saham Al Kafarat in Irbid Governorate, where she joined a group of local youth on a scenic hike overlooking the Yarmouk River. And honestly, this is one of those stories that really highlights a different side of Jordan. When people think of tourism in Jordan, the first places that come to mind are usually Petra, Wadi Rum, the Dead Sea, Jerash, and Aqaba. And of course, those places are iconic for a reason. But northern Jordan has its own kind of beauty. Green hills, villages, farms, valleys, and views that feel completely different from the usual postcard image of the country. During the hike, Her Majesty spoke with local tourism activists who shared their experiences in promoting nature tourism in the Jordanian countryside. They spoke about the importance of local initiatives and community efforts in showing people what the northern region has to offer. And this is an important point because tourism is not only about large hotels or major landmarks. Sometimes it is about a village, a hiking trail, a local guide, a family-run food project, or a small community initiative that gives visitors a more grounded experience. Queen Rania also met with members of the local community who spoke to her about their initiatives. One of the initiatives mentioned was Khairat Saham, a platform that promotes the area's agricultural and traditional heritage. The platform supports local farmers and families by helping package, market, and sell local goods. And these goods include olive oil, pomegranates, guavas, and artisanal food items. That detail is really important because it connects tourism to livelihoods. When visitors go to places like Saham Al Kafarat, they are not only going for the views. They can also support local families, buy local products, learn about the area's agricultural identity, and help keep those traditions alive. Her Majesty's visit comes as part of wider efforts to support local tourism and raise awareness of Jordan's unique travel destinations. Earlier this year, Queen Rania also visited Wadi Rum, highlighting the diversity of Jordan's tourism offerings. After the hike, Queen Rania shared a lovely message, saying she couldn't decide what was more captivating, the beauty of Saham Al Kafarat or the company of its young people. She also said Jordan is truly blessed with its natural treasures and the spirit of its youth, and that line really sums up the story. It is about the place, but it is also about the people. So if you had not heard of Saham Al Kafarat before, you probably have now. And safe to say, Queen Rania may have just introduced a lot more people to one of Jordan's most beautiful hidden spots. Now from royal visits and nature tourism, we move to something much more delicious, shawarma. An English shawarma shop owner, Mitch Renshaw, came to Jordan for inspiration after feeling that his shawarma could get better. And honestly, that alone is already a very Jordan-friendly story. Mitch owns a shawarma chain in England, and instead of just staying where he was and accepting that his recipe was good enough, he decided to come to Jordan to understand what makes shawarma here different. That says a lot, because for Jordanians, shawarma is not just a quick meal, it is part of everyday life. It is the food you get after work, it is the food you get late at night, it is the food you crave when you are out with friends. It is the food that somehow tastes better when it is wrapped in paper, eaten in the car, and paired with pickles, garlic sauce, fries, or whatever your favorite spot does best. So when someone from England says, "My shawarma can be better," and then comes to Jordan to learn, people here are obviously going to appreciate the dedication. During his trip, Mitch explored local shawarma spots, paying attention to the bread, sauces, seasoning, cooking techniques, and general experience. And that is the thing about shawarma in Jordan. It is not only one element, it is the combination. The bread matters, the garlic sauce matters, the heat matters, the meat matters, the way it is sliced matters, the pickles matter, even the speed and rhythm of the shop matters. There is also the atmosphere. A good shawarma spot in Jordan has its own energy. The line, the smell, the workers moving quickly, the sound of orders being called, people standing outside waiting, and that first bite when it is still hot. That is not something you can fully understand from a recipe. You kind of have to be here. And that is what made this story work so well. It was not someone casually visiting Jordan and trying shawarma once. It was someone who came specifically to learn, improve, and take inspiration back home. Jordanians in the comments were loving it, because obviously, if you are serious about shawarma, Jordan is a pretty good place to study. Now, will Jordanian shawarma fans approve of the final version when he takes that inspiration back to England? That is the real test. Because Jordanians are supportive, yes, but when it comes to shawarma, they are also very honest. Now, from shawarma to one of those random, everyday scenes that somehow captures the whole charm of Jordan. A reel showed a flock of sheep crossing a road and casually stopping traffic. And honestly, this is one of those videos that does not need too much explanation. You are driving normally, maybe heading somewhere, maybe already late, and suddenly the road is taken over by sheep. No major drama, no big announcement, just a flock moving across the road like they have somewhere to be, and everyone else just has to wait. These are the small moments that make Jordan feel like Jordan. You can be minutes away from a busy city street, but still run into a scene that feels completely rural, quiet, and traditional. A flock of sheep crossing the road is not unusual in many parts of the country, but when it is caught on video, especially with a beautiful background or a peaceful moment, it becomes something people connect with. Because it is funny, but it is also kind of beautiful. It reminds people that Jordan is not only its cities, it is also villages, farms, hills, open roads, shepherds, and everyday scenes that feel very close to the land. And that is why the reel worked under the idea of the magic of Jordan. The magic is not always a huge landmark or a dramatic sunset. Sometimes it is something simple, like traffic stopping for sheep. 1 minute you are on the road, the next you are waiting for an entire flock to pass. And somehow nobody really seems mad about it. It is just one of those moments where Jordan makes you slow down, literally, and look around. Now, our final story today is a more serious consumer update. Jordan has introduced new regulations banning the sale of energy drinks to anyone under 18. The Jordan Food and Drug Administration issued new regulations covering the display and sale of energy drinks. Under the new rules, retailers are required to separate energy drinks from other beverages. They also need to clearly display labels warning that the sale, consumption, or trade of energy drinks is prohibited for those under 18. So the main takeaway is clear: no energy drinks for anyone under 18. The regulations include a prohibition symbol, and businesses that fail to comply can face penalties. This is being framed as a move to protect younger consumers and increase awareness around energy drink consumption. And this is one of those updates that will affect both retailers and families. For stores, it means changing how energy drinks are displayed and making sure the warnings are visible. For parents and younger consumers, it makes the rule much clearer. Energy drinks are widely available and many young people buy them casually, especially around school, studying, gaming, sports, or long days out. But these new regulations make it clear that they are not to be sold to minors. The display rule is also important because it means energy drinks should not just sit normally among other beverages. Separating them from other drinks makes the category more visible and signals that different rules apply. So if you walk into a store and notice energy drinks displayed separately with warning signs and prohibition symbols, that is part of the new regulation. And for retailers, this is not just a suggestion. The rules include penalties for non-compliance. So today's final update: Jordan's new energy drink regulations ban sales to anyone under 18, require stores to separate energy drinks from other beverages, and require clear warning labels for customers. To recap today's episode, His Majesty King Abdullah II visited Zarqa, checked on the progress of the Zarqa industrial estate, and interacted with students at Hashemite University. Queen Rania visited Saham Al Kafarat in Irbid, joining local youth for a hike and highlighting nature tourism and community initiatives in northern Jordan. An English shawarma shop owner came to Jordan to learn how to make his shawarma better, proving once again that Jordan takes shawarma very seriously. A flock of sheep crossing the road gave us one of those simple, funny, very Jordanian moments that people instantly connect with. And Jordan introduced new energy drink regulations banning sales to anyone under 18. That is it for today's episode of the Lovin Amman Show. From royal visits and hidden hiking spots to shawarma inspiration, sheep traffic, and new rules for energy drinks, Jordan gave us a little bit of everything today. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with more stories from around the kingdom.
Thank you for tuning in into the Lovin Amman podcast as part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Please hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts from.